Sometimes the hardest prayers God answers are the ones that break your heart. You thought it would last forever. You gave everything, your time, your love, your trust, believing this person was part of your destiny. You imagined a future, built dreams together, and then one day, it ended. No warning, no explanation, just silence and distance. And in that moment, you looked to heaven and asked, "Why, God? Why did you let this happen?" But what if God didn't take them away to punish you, but to protect you? What if the ending you are mourning is the beginning of something sacred, something that can only start once the wrong chapter closes? God doesn't end relationships because he's cruel. He ends them because he sees what you can't. He hears the conversations behind closed doors. He sees the intentions hidden behind smiles. He knows the things that would destroy you if you stayed. And when he loves you, truly loves you, he will remove whatever stands between you and your purpose, even if it breaks your heart to lose it. Sometimes the person you beg God to keep was the very thing keeping you from becoming who he created you to be. You saw love, but he saw limitation. You saw connection, but he saw compromise. You saw forever, but he saw a detour. And because his vision is eternal, he will always choose your growth over your comfort. Do you remember Abraham and Lot? They journeyed together for years, but there came a moment when God said, "It's time to separate." Lot wasn't evil. He simply wasn't meant to go where Abraham was going. And maybe that's your story too. Some people are blessings for a season, not for a lifetime. They helped you grow, taught you lessons, showed you love, but now their role is complete. Holding on any longer would only delay what God wants to do next in your life. And that is the painful truth about divine separation. It doesn't always make sense right away, because from where you're standing, it looks like loss. But from heaven's view, it's protection. God doesn't subtract without the intention to multiply later. He is not taking away love. He is clearing the space for the kind of love that reflects him. The kind that doesn't drain you, doesn't confuse you, doesn't pull you away from his presence. You prayed for peace, and God removed the person who kept you anxious. You asked for clarity, and he revealed their true intentions. You asked for strength, and he taught you how to stand alone. You wanted growth, and he cut the ties that were holding you down. It hurts, I know. The silence after a goodbye feels endless. The memories haunt you. The what-ifs echo in your mind. You replay conversations, wondering what you could have done differently. But here's the truth. If it ended, it's because God knew it had to. The same God who started the story had the right to finish it. Not out of anger, but out of love. Sometimes God ends relationships because the version of you that loved them no longer exists. You've grown. You've changed. And while your heart still clings to the familiar, your spirit is ready for more. The connection that once brought life now stunts your growth. The love that once gave you comfort now limits your faith. And God, who refuses to let you settle, steps in to break what you would have never had the courage to end. The breakup, the distance, the silence. It's not rejection, it's redirection. It's God saying, "I have something better, but you can't hold it while you're still clinging to what was." He is not punishing you for loving. He is rewarding you for trusting him enough to let go. Because what you lose in people, you gain in peace. What you release in pain, you receive in purpose. Do you remember when Jesus was betrayed? Judas had to leave before the resurrection could happen. And maybe that is why God allowed your heartbreak, because the resurrection of your purpose can't happen until certain people walk out. Some relationships end not because they were evil, but because they've expired. The purpose they served is finished, and keeping them would only delay your next chapter. And I know that sounds harsh, because your heart doesn't operate on logic, it operates on love. But God's plan isn't T, based on what feels good. It's S, based on what forms you. He's shaping your heart to depend on him, not on who left. That's why he doesn't always explain right away. Because if he showed you what he saw, you'd thank him instead of question him. Maybe one day you'll look back and realize that the breakup was the breakthrough, that what you thought was the end was actually the doorway, that if they had stayed, you would have missed what God was sending. You'll understand that he never removed without reason. He was protecting you from a slower heartbreak, a deeper pain, a longer detour. And maybe, just maybe, God didn't let it work out because you made them your source instead of your support. You depended on their approval to feel loved, their presence to feel whole, their words to feel valued. But God wants to be your foundation, not your backup. So he allows the shaking. He removes what you leaned on, so you'll finally lean on him. If they were truly yours, they wouldn't have left. If the connection was divine, it wouldn't have broken. Because what's from God doesn't require you to beg, chase, or compromise your peace to keep it. Real love doesn't demand that you lose yourself to preserve it. So stop trying to resurrect what God already buried. Stop rereading a chapter he's finished writing. Healing starts when you accept that closure isn't something people give. It's something God reveals. You don't need them to explain why they left. You just need to trust why God allowed it. Your story isn't over. The ending you're crying over is the same moment heaven is celebrating, because now you're free to become everything he planned. The same heart that broke will one day love again, stronger, wiser, cleaner. Because when God restores, he doesn't return what you lost. He gives you what you never had. So tonight, when you feel the ache of what's gone, don't just see the absence, see the protection. Whisper this prayer. God, thank you for removing what wasn't meant for me. Help me trust what you're preparing in its place. Because one day, the pain will make sense, and you'll realize the relationship didn't end because you weren't enough. It ended because God was. And what he has planned next will show you that nothing you lost was ever wasted. If this spoke to you, comment below. God, I trust your endings, because every ending written by his hand is the beginning of something holy.